What is up, saucy people? How is everyone doing today? We have another episode lined up for you today, and this is going to be a special one because we have not only one, not only two, but three guests today. And our first one is going to be Liz Cabrera. Say hi, Liz.
Hi.
All right, today we're going to be discussing music and all different genres, K-pop, and we even have a special one that creates his own music videos, and I think he's super exceptional. Now, Liz, tell us what type of music do you like?
Um, I want to say like everything, but I feel like it's a little too vague. But mostly just like indie, alternative rock. I used to listen to some more classic rock. A lot of rap, hip hop, and just kind of like a little more genres sprinkled here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Like occasionally I do listen to some jazz or like some Japanese indie rock. I don't know. I'm really open to a lot of things.
Right. So you're pretty good in like a lot of music, you know, a lot of different
Yeah.
stuff. What's your go-to though? Like if you're like any mood, what's your go-to?
Um, like I always listen to some indie music, and the other one is like rap. Like those are my two like top that I always listen to like every day.
So what's when you're listening to indie, what's your like favorite band or group or
Um, it's kind of hard to just pick one because there's just like so many songs that I listen to.
right?
But um, I don't think I can think of one
Do you have like a
actually.
couple off the top of your head, like your favorites?
The first one that I think that I can think of is this band called the Growlers. They're pretty cool. And yeah, I don't know, it's hard to think of stuff right now.
It's all good. When did you first listen to Growlers?
Probably like last year, I'd say. That's around. But I started listening to the whole genre about starting a few years ago.
Interesting, interesting. Now, what got you into music? Why are you so into these like discovering new genres and listening to a bunch of different music?
Um, well, it all comes down to like how I express myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like that's the main way and how I can just like I don't know how to say it, but like
No, 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 definitely. Like, music is a way for you to like, I don't know, express your creativity, and
mhm.
it's that vibe, you get from music.
Yeah.
Right. And I also heard that you played an instrument. Is that correct?
Yeah, I do. I play like three, but my
Ooh,
top one is guitar. That's just like my go-to.
guitar. How long have you been playing the guitar?
Um, well, I just finished 12th grade, so since about fifth or sixth grade, so it's about like 6 years.
Dang, that's crazy.
Mhm.
What kind of guitar do you usually play? Electric or acoustic?
um, I like playing electric more, just cause I used to play mostly acoustic, but once I started playing electric, it was just like I don't know, I liked it way more, and I could do so much more styles with that. It was a lot more fun.
Right, and I think electric definitely goes more towards the genres that you're into. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right. So, I also heard that you were in the band for a couple of years now.
Yeah, I was.
What do you play in the band?
Um, the first instrument that I played was the trumpet. I started that in when I was in eighth grade, but then once I was a freshman in high school, learned the French horn, and then I just kind of classified that as my main instrument throughout high school.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So, what's that? I know they're similar. Is it the brass instruments that?
Yeah.
Awesome. And what have you learned from being in band?
Just kind of um, well, the reason I was there is just basically for my love of music, and I just learned so much about music, I guess. But then the whole community as a whole, they're just like so. It's like a bond that you can't really break, and I really appreciate that.
Right. I would imagine the band is basically your second family, and
Yeah, we've been
that's
here
pretty
for so
cool.
long. Then
Yeah, my brother is going into band, so I hope he enjoys it as much as you did.
I'm sure he will.
Yeah. What other, how do I call it? What's another band that you really like that's not indie or
Um, Probably like I do listen to a lot of rap.
mm-hmm.
So one of my top artists there is Kanye West.
Ooh,
He's
Kanye.
like yeah, and Tyler the Creator. Those are like my top artists that I've listened to since I was like a freshman or like in middle school.
So for Kanye, you said you listened to him for a long time. What's your favorite album from him, would you say?
Um, Probably I want to say well, it's hard to say because there's like so many
Right,
that are
right.
so good. But my top right now is My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. One's always gonna be a classic.
Okay, would you recommend others to try it out?
Yeah, for sure.
All
There's
right.
like so many songs, and they're just like the style is great that I'm sure everybody will like it.
Definitely, and his rapping is pretty damn good, so.
Yeah.
Well, I think that wraps it up for this part of the episode. I just want to thank you so much, Liz.
Yeah, no problem.
And yeah, up next we have Ben Dang. Hey guys, so I'm here with Ben for part two of this special music episode. We are
Hello.
talking about K-pop. So, Ben, what first got you into K-pop?
Uh, I think it's because a couple of my other friends from class listened to K-pop, so I was like really interested into it. It was back in like freshman year, I think. So I think it was cool to have like share a similar hobby to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what groups did you start watching or like listening to?
Uh, the first groups were kind of just like the really popular ones like Twice, BTS, Blackpink, like those like kind of the big popular mainstream groups
Right, right.
I
And
was usually in.
definitely after you've listened more, you've grown to like not really grown, but like listen to other groups and have your favorite.
Yeah.
What's your favorite now?
My favorite now is probably Luna Twice and probably Eyes One. Those are like my top three right now.
Okay, and
Yeah.
why?
They're okay. So first off, I like to like be fans of their music first, so which is nice because like that's kind of like the main point of like liking the group,
Right.
and also like after that, I start listening to their um watching their variety shows on TV and stuff, and to see if like they're entertaining and have like nice personalities and stuff. So that's kind of like my judging point on everything on how I become fans for groups and stuff.
Okay, and so to people that aren't totally into K-pop, aside from their music videos and their music, what else do groups usually do?
So in K-pop, normally for groups, they like to when they have a comeback or like new music, they usually like to promote it by going through reality shows, which are like Korean TV shows kind of. And it's just like entertainment for like fans and like newcomers so that they can like understand what the members are like and their personalities and whatnot.
Okay, so it's like keeping up with the Kardashians, so it's like
Yeah,
keeping up with the
pretty much.
K-pop.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. And I notice that you have like posters behind you. Can
Yeah,
you,
I do. I got
which,
them from like all my albums that I bought and stuff.
okay, so in an album, what usually comes in it?
So normally the album obviously it comes with the CD. It also has the photo book, which is like basically pictures of all the members and stuff. And then that's kind of like the basics of it. And then like there's also like add-ons to it, like photo cards of one member. So that's like kind of the main reason as to why people buy albums, which is
Right.
like they if they want like a specific member, they buy like a couple more albums just to get like one specific person.
So
So
it's like collectibles that
yeah,
make it really
yeah.
special. Okay, that's pretty cool. Which ones
Hmm.
are those specifically? I see Holiday Night, and I can't really read the other ones, but
Okay, so that one, the Holiday Night one, is from SNSD, which is like kind of an older group, and then the one right next to it is Twice's Signal, which is from 3 years ago, I think. Yeah.
that's pretty cool. And what is the secret sauce of K-pop right now? What are some groups. What's one group that you think is gonna pop up and really explode right now that you think is starting small, but it's gonna like really go huge?
Um, the secret sauce. There's a lot of really kind of underrated groups in my opinion. Like I think groups like Luna, they're like although they're really popular internationally with like Stan Luna and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
they're not really popular in Korea, but I still think that like they're gonna gain more fans eventually. And then there's other groups like they're kind of like rookie groups like Six, Abe Six, I think, which I know some of my friends like them. And once I think they'll gain a bigger following as they get more popular too.
Right. So that's pretty cool. We got Luna, the sixth group you were talking
Mm-hmm.
about. How how has K-pop impacted your life?
Um, I think it's kind of brought mostly a positive influence to me. I think I've grown more tolerance to listening to other genres of music in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think I've grown to be less picky with everything and just like be more open minded with everything.
Definitely, yeah.
And it's like, I think it's also helped me gain more like friends with similar interests on online and stuff, which is pretty cool because I've never had like that many like online friends online. So I think it was pretty cool to have that.
So it's a really cool community type
Mm,
thing that you got with it.
yeah.
So yeah, I get that. I get that. Um, One thing though that I do not, I don't know if other people do this or whatnot, but do
Mhm.
you, as a K-pop viewer and watcher, do you listen and like read the lyrics, or do you just watch it? Do you watch it for like the sound or whatnot? Because I personally don't look at the lyrics.
Um, so whenever I listen to a song, normally I listen to it a couple times without lyrics just to like get the vibe of it.
Hmm.
And then if I'm really like interested with the song, sometimes I would look through the lyrics. Like normally I would do that with like sadder songs and ballad type stuff because it brings out more like emotion when knowing what they're saying.
Right.
But like if it's like a dance track, it's not really like needed in my opinion.
Okay. That makes sense. Well, I just want to thank you for your time
Yeah,
here,
no
and
problem.
it's been a pleasure having you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, guys, and we're back for the third part of this episode. Here I am joined by the lovely Chung Nguyen.
Hello, guys.
All right, and today we are interviewing Chung because he not only loves music, but he also makes music himself. Chung, can you tell us about some of your past musical projects?
Sure. I guess they haven't spanned as much outside of my physics class. Um, Junior year, I joined AP Physics 1, and then senior year, I was in AP Physics 2. And towards the end of Physics 1, I made a music video. It was a rap. And then, what is it? The beginning of, like, this first semester of this senior year, I made a parody of Old Town Road. And then this like past semester, like end of the month, I guess, end of the year, I made a parody of Bohemian Rhapsody, and these are all physics related.
So you did a parody of it relating to physics, correct?
Yeah, each one was relating to a different concept of physics. My One of them was related to electricity, one of them was related to forces, and then one of them was gravity.
Awesome. And why did you make this? Is this like for fun, or was this for extra credit, or what's up?
So the first one was it's called Ohm's Law, and it's a parody of God's plan. And I was sitting in class one day. I was doing a worksheet as Mr. Weiner makes us do, and there was like we were learning about Ohm's law, and I was thinking to myself like this would sound really good in like if it was to the tune of God's plan, like Ohm's law. So I was like, okay, if no one's gonna make this music video, then I will. And then I made it. So then there's that, and then also having people lick a battery was fun, which was part of the video itself, not the actual song. Um, for my second music video, I was like, oh, this song's kind of fun, and I can make something out of this, so let's do it. That was Old Town Road, and then Bohemian Rhapsody. This was also a I can make this, so let's do it, and then also I could get extra credit from this one, which did not bring my grade up to a B or to an A yet.
Yet.
The AP
Okay.
test isn't. Yeah.
Fingers
And
crossed.
then also I had a contest with Jacob and Liz to like make a music video, or I guess physics parody song at least. And they had an idea for their thing, which they never made, so I win by default because I actually made it.
Well, congratulations
So
for
yeah,
that. So the Old Town
thanks.
Roads parody, what was that one on? What's the name of that one?
That one was whole truck load, and this was about carrying forces and friction and stuff like that.
Nice. What about
It,
Bohemian Rhapsody?
Bohemian Rhapsody was Newtonian gravity, and it was all about gravitational forces and like I don't know really, because Bohemian Rhapsody is kind of a song with about good meaning, so that song was also a song without much meaning as well.
Right. I actually watched that one and it actually slapped. And I noticed that a ton of production was put into that where you had to like sing high, sing low. There were like four different voices or whatnot. How do you go about making
Hmm.
these videos?
Well, for this one, I wanted a more like a good sound, and I don't have that good of a mic, as you can probably tell from listening to
You
it.
sound fine.
So I use my phone mic for that one, just like I did for all of it. Except this time I went into my closet and shut the door and made like this little studio kind of a thing. Um, and on my dresser, I just had my phone ready to record, and then I had on my Chromebook, I had the video up, and like I would have the video play, and then I would sing at the same time, so that I would make sure that when I actually put the song together, it'd be all on time. Which I did run into a few hiccups there, then and there. And then also for each part that required it, like at the beginning of Bohemian Rhapsody, when you have like, opera sounding, you need all four parts to make it sound like an actual thing. So I had to record, or I had to learn how to do, or I had to learn the first, like the bass part, the tenor part, the alto part, and soprano part separately. And then I recorded myself singing each of those.
Right, and it sounded wonderfully. So, if you want to watch it, I'll put the link definitely down in the description for all three of those. You did mention a couple of hiccups. What were those hiccups?
Well, let's see. There were quite a few. One of them, I so some of them weren't on time actually, as well as I wanted it to. So I had to like go in and like add some silence to some of the sound clips, like just like add a little pause in
Gotcha, that makes sense. Yeah.
between them. Some, yeah, some of them were like that, and then some of them were a bit short, so or like not short, so I had to delete some of that. Some of them, or there's this one line. Um, I actually sung the actual lyric rather than singing my own in one of the parts, so I had to like delete that and just like not use it. I had to even like it was a bass part and a soprano part, and I sung the soprano part the way it was supposed to be, and then I sung the bass part my way. So then when I put it together, it was like um, the parody lyric and the actual lyric. So then I just deleted the actual lyric, and I was too lazy to re-record it, so I never did that. Um, Another hiccup I had was like my vocal range is clearly bass. Like I can't really sing too high. Like I can sing relatively high, but like not as high as they go in there. So
Right, it didn't reach.
I had to reach really far for that, and that kind of hurt me. I went out and got some tea, and then I went back in to record, and I think like I talked to my mom, and she heard me from across the house just like screaming in the closet, like I don't know, that seems kind of weird. Uh, and then in the like back section, or in like the midway section, there's that like really hard part with the again with the high voices and all the stuff you have to put together, like Galileo, Figaro, and that whole section where it's just a lot of work.
Right,
So I
yeah.
had to like I got a lot of well, okay. I didn't try too hard on that. I was getting super tired because this was I was like started at like 10. It was like going into 12 and I was like, man, I don't really want to do this anymore. So then I just recorded one part of it. I was like, okay, I know I'm going to need to use this part again and again. So I'll just take this and then copy and paste it. And then that's how it worked then. And it sounds bad. And I tried to make it sound as good as possible, but to me it sounds that part.
Honestly, when I was watching over, I didn't notice a thing. So it sounded great. It did sound
Thanks.
really good. And was it worth it? Was all that time and energy worth it?
I think so. I made something I'm proud of. Most of my other two music videos were like kind of there. They were all right, but then this one I was like I heard myself singing the harmony part, and I was like, this actually sounds a lot better than I thought it would have. Like, because I was like thinking to myself, I'm like, what does four of my voices sound like together? And like, it probably sounds really bad, but it didn't sound that bad. Like, I was genuinely surprised by this one.
So did you use any editing like with your voice? Not just like clipping it out, but like editing how your voice sounded in order to reach some of those high notes that you were saying?
There was a slight, very slight modulation on one of them. Like, uh, actually on a few clips, like the high notes. One of them was like an octave lower than it should have been because I can't sing that high.
Right.
So then I just boosted it an octave higher, and I was like, okay, I sound like a chipmunk now, but it works. And then the other part was like I sung the right note, but I like wavered in between, in like at the beginning of it, but was like fine the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just changed that a little bit to like go back up and just be constant throughout. And then it ended up sounding a lot better.
Oh, okay.
And then what was it? Oh, I added my like I don't know if this counts, but I added reverb to the end or like I guess like a following voice, so it would sound like I'm singing like in an echo kind of way, just
Gotcha.
like they did it
Yeah.
in the actual song. So I
Mm-hmm.
would mirror the actual song.
So you didn't do too much editing. It was purely your own voice, which I like. That's what I like to hear, you know. It's all
Yeah,
natural, baby. That's what's up. You did mention the chipmunks. Remember the chipmunks, man? Remember back then, 2010, every song came in the chipmunks version?
yeah, that was
That was,
not a good time,
I don't know.
but neither is now. So
That is true. Well, I just want to thank you so much for being on the show. I'll definitely have your links down below if people want to check them out. But thank you for joining us today, Chung.
thank you, Chris.
All right. Well, that concludes it for this special episode. I will catch you guys later. Stay saucy.